Welcome to the Susan LoPresti Wellness Mind, Body, and Soul podcast. This is your go-to space for midlife and mature women who are ready to reclaim their health, boost their energy, and live long, vibrant, and purposeful lives. Each week, we dive deep into natural wellness, holistic healing, anti-aging strategies, and healthy lifestyle habits to help you feel your best physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Whether you're navigating menopause, working through chronic conditions, or simply wanting to age gracefully and intentionally, this show is your sanctuary for science backed insights, powerful stories, and soul nourishing inspiration. So, if you're a woman over 40 or 50 or older looking to thrive in the next chapter of your life, you're in the right place. Today's guest, I'm super excited about this. Today's guest is Brit Nicole, is a clarity coach, a speaker, and the woman behind the Unstoppable SheEO, where she helps successful women rise out of burnout, breakdowns, and those how did I get here trenches. Most of her clients are powerhouses that are stuck on the edge, great on paper, anxious in the parking lot, wondering how to build without burning everything they love to the ground. No sugarcoating. She lived through bankruptcy, lawsuits, betrayal, solo parenting, double rest saga, and each time she rose, mapped the way out through nervous system tools, strategic rebuilds, and the truth that wakes people up. So without further ado, Brittany, welcome to my podcast. I'm so excited to have you here today, and I can't wait for us to dive into this powerful conversation.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. I want to start from the beginning. So your story is it's very powerful and it's very raw. You lived through bankruptcy, betrayal, lawsuits, and yet you still found a way to rise stronger each time. So can you share what the breaking point was that led you to create, and I love the name of this, the Unstoppable SheEO. Am I saying it right?
You
She,
absolutely are. It is a
yes,
pun off of CEO. Yeah.
yes, I love it. I absolutely love it.
Well, thanks. So it's a few things that are layered. In my early 20s, I married somebody I shouldn't have married, and it ended up being like an abusive relationship. And I wasn't allowed to have a job. I wasn't allowed to have friends or family over. So I was very isolated and secluded. But one night when things went really bad, I ended up leaving the next day. And that was really difficult for me to navigate through because I had lost my complete identity during that time. I was being told who I should be and who other people wanted me to be versus who Brittany needs to be. And during that time, I was doing my healing. I was doing what I needed to do to get out of survival mode and get back into just living life. And I, instead of just like living in the victim mindset, I chose to just utilize what happened and fuel my future. I thrived off of being angry, if I were to be honest with you. And that's when I started building a business, and I was maybe 24 at the time. And
Wow, very
I
young.
Yeah, I built my city's very first digital media marketing agency, and I scaled it. I hated it. I sold it. So then I started doing photography, and I did really, really well. Within my first 4 months, I generated 20 grand, and I was like, oh, wow, like I can actually do this. I can come back from all of the crap that happened, all of the abuse that I went through. I can actually do something insanely cool with my life.
Yeah.
And I dubbed myself as a destination photographer, and I did really, really well. Really well. I scaled it very well. My face was on, I'd been on the Ellen show, I had been on The
Wow.
Knot, I've been on like ABC, CBS, NBC, like all of these places, and I never had a problem with booking people. And it was the year that I got placed into the Knots Hall of Fame as top 2% of best photographers in the nation when I decided, you know what? I wonder if I can scale this again. So that's exactly what I did. Underneath this branch of photography business, I opened up something called Texas Adventure Elopements. And this time, I hired actual photographers to work underneath me. So I was delegating out tasks. This is where things started to get a little icky. About a year into having a certain employee, she decided to leave, which is completely fine.
Hmm.
And but when she left, she decided to take what was then 16 years worth of intellectual property and what we could physically see online were 66 federally copyrighted infringements against her, which we knew that there was more behind the scenes. So, in order to get the bleeding to stop, I had to let go of all of my staff. I had to let everyone go. And when you have scaled a company to what I had two photography companies, both making six figures, and you can't do that by yourself. Like,
Right.
none of this is by me. So, when I let everyone go, I started experiencing burnout and trauma from not only just everything crashing in on me, but the amount of money that it took to protect my business from somebody who was stealing from me was outrageous. And it took me from us living a certain lifestyle to kids, we can't go on vacation this year type thing. And it almost bankrupted me. We did not file for bankruptcy, but it almost bankrupted me. And it was during that moment, it took me 3 years for my body to get out of the survival mode, the fight or flight mode. No matter what I did, literally, no matter what I did. I hired business coaches, I bought courses, I went to therapy, which is great. Everyone should go to therapy.
Right.
But no matter what I did, I could not be the Brittany that I was before. Like I couldn't. I tried so hard and I just couldn't be that. And
So, what were
that,
you going through? What were you experiencing? Was it anxiety,
oh
depression?
yes. Yes, it was all of that. Even like I couldn't even get out of bed and function normally. I felt so much guilt and shame for for everything that I felt like I put my family through, even though I felt like it was the right thing to do at the time.
Yeah.
Not really knowing how the justice system works, especially federal courts. And in any time that my email went off, anytime that sound, it could have been from your phone. If it was the same sound that was my email ding on my phone,
Yeah.
my body would automatically just start freaking out and it would feel like I was getting mauled by a bear because I'm either thinking it's an email from my lawyer who is sending me an invoice, it's an email again from the lawyer who is asking or sending a settlement, all of these things. And it was just, it sucked. It was really bad. I could not function to the ability of being a wife or mom or even a friend. I had the hardest time just even taking care of myself. I couldn't do it. I felt like just such a failure day in and day out. My cortisol levels were beyond spiked.
Oh, yeah.
One of the craziest things that ended up happening was my body felt it. And one day, one night actually, was sitting on the couch with my husband, and I just had this insane pain come through my chest, my back, my jaw. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening? And I couldn't take a deep breath to save my life. Like it hurt so bad. So I was like, okay, well, maybe my body is just freaking out. I need to go lay in the bathtub. because, I'm too young to have heart stuff. Whatever. I'm in my late 30s. And I'm in the bathtub. I'm like, I probably should check my heart rate because it feels very off. So I put my Apple Watch on and my heart rate was at 270, laying in the bathtub, doing nothing. I'm like, okay, I probably should go to the ER for this. So that's exactly what I did. I got up and I went to the ER, and I'm over here thinking I'm having a heart attack or something. And they do all the blood work and everything. And I'm there maybe 3, 4 hours. They're giving me morphine, and even morphine isn't even like touching the pain.
Wow.
And I'm like, what is going on? And she's like, well, you're not having a heart attack, but I fully believe this is anxiety and stress induced, and your body is just feeling it. It's like, no, this can't be it. Like, that's silly. It has to be my heart. So I even went to a cardiologist, had a heart monitor put on. They monitored me for 2 months or 2 weeks. I don't even remember how long. And even then, if I'm sitting down or walking, my heart rate would go up to like 200s, stay there for a while, and it would bounce around to the 100s, back to the 200s. It was crazy. But then he was like, there's nothing wrong with your heart. Like, we're not showing anything. And I'm like, okay. He goes, so it is stress induced. It is anxiety induced. So I feel like what I had gone through in with the previous marriage and
I
then
was
the
just gonna say.
trauma with all of that court case and betrayal of someone that I trusted with this baby that I built. Like, I feel like it's very difficult for anyone to come back from, and that's where the name Unstoppable SheEO came from of, you know what? I'm not going to allow somebody else to dictate the rest of my life and my future. I know what I'm capable of, and I'm just going to keep doing it.
Yeah. So, as you were talking, I was thinking the trauma that you had with your first husband,
Mhm.
you left him, but you may not have resolved the trauma part of that. So, you were holding that in your body. And then
Well,
this
I'm sorry.
added to it, and it just exploded, basically, right?
Well, in between there was about a decade of the ex up until the betrayal of my employee. And
Yeah.
I had actually done a lot of healing. Like, even he ended up killing himself. So
Oh,
there was a lot of stuff happening in the very beginning that I did everything in my power to seek healing from. And that I never really sat and thought about my body keeping score of that because I felt completely healed from everything that happened with him. Probably because I took years within therapy and doing EMDR, and I didn't even realize that the body kept score until that heart thing happened.
yeah.
And they were like, yeah, your body, your nervous system is just shot. Like, it's just completely gone. So,
And how did you begin to heal from that?
that's a great question. I tried everything that you could possibly think of outside of like drugs and alcohol. I I thought something was wrong with me because, again, at this moment I didn't know or understand about the nervous system at
Mm-hmm.
all. And I literally thought I was just going crazy, like there's something wrong with my brain. So again, I hired business coaches, multiple ones, and like, man, I just can't seem to get past this hump. What is going on with me? And I remember one specifically was like, Brittany, you just need to talk nicer to yourself. Go put affirmations on your window and stuff like that. And I'm like, that is literally not going to heal me. Like, I feel it deeper than what you're just saying.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I found one of the girls who worked for me at the time, her mom was a spiritual coach, and I didn't even know that those existed. And I was like, you know what? I'll give her a shot. I've tried other things.
Right.
And she was like, Brittany, there's literally nothing wrong with your brain. Your body is just trying to survive. That's it. Like, your nervous system is just shot. You just need to get it realigned. So it was nervous system reset that helped. And then also there is this, what would you call it? Like a group at my church. It's called Regeneration. And it's like this year-long program, but the first 6 weeks, the way that I like to describe it is it's like AA for my feelings.
Okay.
And for like my feelings and all the stuff that I've been hurt from. And it was insanely incredible. I have not felt so free in my life. Like there's just so much peace and joy and everything that I had been seeking after. And yeah, it
How,
took me a while to get there and to find the right things, but I found
how
it.
long was that program?
I'm still in it.
Oh,
Uh,
so it's ongoing.
mhm.
Ongoing.
Yeah, I mean it's mandatory for a year, but
Okay.
if you want to keep going, you absolutely can.
Okay.
Hmm.
So, how does regulating your nervous system change the way, let's say, yourself? How did that change the way you make decisions or rebuild your life after a breakdown like that?
Oh, Susan, that's a beautiful question. When I learned how to
Uh,
do that, she was like, just go to YouTube and find all of these things. And I'm like, okay. So I go to YouTube and I I vividly remember this part. She's like, there's a certain meditation thing that I want you to listen to. And I'm like, okay. I'm over here thinking meditation is for, I don't know, not people, not me type thing.
right.
And I was listening to this one sound and it was like, I guess it's like the bowls
Oh,
or
yes.
the bowl sounds or whatever.
Yes.
I kid you not. It made me so angry. I hated that sound and I was like, this is not for me. Like, it's giving me all the icks. And she's like, okay, that's not for everyone. Just find something that is for you. And there's this one particular that I found. It was with eye movement and breathing. And it's so weird for me to describe it, but when I did it twice and it was just like this best way to describe it is like this cloud, dark, this dark, heavy cloud just released from my brain. And I could actually like make solid decisions at that point because for years, literally 3 years, decision paralysis. I felt like I had 50 tabs open in my brain at the
Yes.
same time. I would drive a car. So from Amarillo, Texas to Dallas, Texas is about 6 hours. I remember driving my car there with no radio going the whole time. So 12 hours there and back, nothing because I can play my own podcast in my head. It just too much noise.
Yeah.
And when I started regulating myself, it was insane the clarity that came from it. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest with you.
Wow. So that technique that you did with the eye movement and sound, you said,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
is, is there a name for that?
I have no idea, but what you end up doing is like again, I'm not an expert in this. I just know what worked for me and why it worked for me. But whenever you yawn, that stimulates apparently your vagus nervous system as
Yes.
well. And I did not know that, but in this one particular video, there was sound of like it almost felt like how do I just like a scratching. Can you hear that like on my desk?
No.
Okay. It just kind of felt like I don't know, it was sounded like a scratching type thing, but it like
Uh-huh.
stimulated my brain. I'm like, oh, that's
Ah,
crazy cool. And he said, so what we're going to do is your face is going to be here and your eyes are going to be over here to the right hand side. And you're going to take a very deep breath, like way in your gut, take a breath. And whenever you feel a yawn coming, you're going to release it as long as you possibly can with breathing out. But whenever that yawn comes, you're automatically going to move your eyes to the left. So your face stays here, your eyes are at the right, you yawn, and you automatically go to the left with it. And I was like, that sounds dumb. But whatever, I'll try it. And like it was the craziest thing.
And it helped.
It did for me. It makes me sound like when you think about like just kind of what you did to do it, it's like, oh, that sounds really weird to say out loud to people. But yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Wow. So it basically was the vagus nerve stimulation, I guess, that,
Yeah, that's what my therapist said.
wow. That is really, really interesting. Really interesting.
I thought so too.
So let's go on to talk about your business now. She's CEO.
Yeah, the Unstoppable SheEO. So now I do summits. My very first summit that I did was so incredible. I When you think of SheEO, when I named it, it was more of like, the boss babe vibes, like screw what happened to you, you can do anything that you want, but it has slowly turned into healing your inner self so that you can become the unstoppable person that you are. And the summit that I held was these really powerful local people that got up there and talked about the tragedy and traumas that they went through and how they were able to get to the top to where they were at. And even one was one of our female mayors that we had, and she went through breast cancer throughout the whole entire term. And it was really, really cool. And then that transitioned into me opening up the Unstoppable SheEO method, which is an online community for female entrepreneurs who suffer from either trauma brain or ADHD type brains, like squirrel brains, because a lot of that stuff kind of like coincides.
Yeah,
But inside this community, I'm literally helping them get their bodies and nervous systems correct the way that it needs to be and putting together a solid business plan that works for their brains of where their brains are at during the healing time so that they can start building a solid rock foundation to be able to scale their businesses within a certain time frame. We have it for 4 months, but everyone does it at their own pace. So
yeah.
it's pretty cool.
Wow. And are the women young? Are they fairly young, like 30s and 40s, or do you find older women as well in the group?
That is a great question. I'm going through the members right now in my head, and I never really sat and like digested that, but
Yeah.
it seems to range for 30s to 50s.
Okay.
The crazy, I never in a million years would have ever thought this, but one of the girls, she was divorced, but her ex-husband ended up passing away, and his death went insanely viral, like so very viral. And so she was getting a lot of hate on her Facebook and everything like that. And it was like, how am I? Why are you coming to me? Like, I'm just trying to raise my daughter right now. And
Right.
she was left with nothing. And so she's building up her course that she tried to do 2 years ago. And she came to me and she said, I have been praying for someone or something to just come and help me the way that I needed. And she goes, it was you this whole time. And that made me start bawling my face off because
Yeah.
what I went through wasn't for nothing.
Right. It
No,
never usually is, right?
yeah.
You can't see the big picture when you're in it,
Mm-mm.
but once it's behind you and you take a step back, you usually see that it's for the greater good.
Yeah. And that took me a while to understand. But yeah,
Wow.
it's
Brittany, that's incredible. That in itself, to hear that must have made it feel all worthwhile for you, right? That everything you
yes.
went through.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
And it was very, I guess, surreal
Yeah.
that if I wouldn't have put myself out there or my story or what I could do to help her, where would she be at?
Yeah. That's crazy. So I have a couple other questions. You described your work as truth that wakes people up.
Mm.
So, what's one truth that most women really need to hear but often resist?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a really good question. The belief in themselves
Yeah.
that they are capable and called. What I hear time and time again from my students is when they have that deep desire and that want to do something, like that's not by chance, that is literally your design. You are allowed to pursue that in your life. And a lot of people are just like, I don't feel prepared. I don't think that I have all of my stuff in a row. I don't feel I'm capable of doing this. And, for because I am Christian, a lot of women in this group are Christian. I go back to talking about during the biblical times of like not just the disciples, but the apostles. Like they had a high calling on their life and their lives were messy,
Right.
so messy. And God doesn't call people who are already equipped to do it. That would relinquish the point of relying on faith in Him to guide you through things. And so, yeah, that's definitely one of them.
Why do you think that so many women don't have the confidence in themselves and feel that they're not equipped? Is it something that, as they're growing up, they feel inferior?
That could be it, but I believe, especially nowadays, social media plays a huge, huge
Yeah.
role in it. It definitely could be like, families back then, especially like me growing up, my mom didn't work. Like it was just my dad, and
Hmm.
he owned his own business, and I never actually saw any type of like female business owner energy or female leadership energy growing up. And it definitely could be outside people talking in their head of their own fears of what they would or wouldn't do. And
Yeah.
they digest that. But I think social media has a lot to do of just imposter syndrome and seeing everybody else succeed when they're still trying to pick up the pieces for themselves.
Right. Right. So, do you have a daily practice or a ritual that keeps you grounded and aligned with your truth?
I do. This
Could
is,
you share what that's all about?
yeah, it's a little deep, but again, like the regeneration workbook, it's like a 6 day, every single day you have something. And one of them that was very, that I do every morning, I read the prompt of like how to like really dig into my feelings and write it out and then start finding the root issue as to where that came from and then seeking the healing from that has been insanely good for me, especially when I wake up in the mornings and do that. If I don't do that, it feels off and I don't want to live in my feelings. I
Yeah.
want to live in reality and I don't want everything to feel like an emergency. So that part is really good for me.
Wow, that's incredible. I love that. So, well, two final questions. So, for women that are listening, right, and the majority of my audience is a woman in her mid 40s and older, and they're in burnout or overwhelm or heartbreak right now, what would you say to them in this moment?
This isn't the end. Like, this isn't the thing that defines you. You are truly capable of living the life that you truly want to live. And all you have to do is just reach out to someone who may have gone through the same thing or someone who is going to reach their hand down and help pull you up. But you can't do it alone. You shouldn't do it alone. You you're going to be okay. I promise. You're going to be just fine.
That's great advice. Absolutely great advice. Finally, Brittany, how can my listeners connect with you, and what's the best way to begin working with the Unstoppable SheEO?
Aw, Susan, thanks for that. So you can find me on Instagram. The
Okay.
handle is at its Brit.Nicole, Nicole, or my website, britnicole.com. But I host weekly webinars specifically for trauma, brain fog, ADHD type women every single Tuesday, either at 12 Central Standard Time or 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. And it's a free webinar that will give you 3 take home things to work on immediately. And then you would then do a coaching call with me to see if you would be a fit for the community. So,
Okay. Can you give me the links to your Instagram and website so I could put it in the show notes and make sure I get it right?
of course, yes.
Thank you, Brittany. This was, first of all, I admire you for going through that trauma, which, you could have stayed down the rest of your life and felt sorry for yourself and poor me, and then you came back from that and you started a wonderful business, and then you lost that, and you
Yeah.
still picked yourself back up and said, I'm not giving up, I'm moving forward. And it's an inspiration for any of my listeners on here who are going through something traumatic, because clearly your story was traumatic and you came out on the other side, and that just offers hope to my listeners that they can also come out on the other side. So thank you so much for joining me here today.
I
I
appreciate it
truly
so
appreciate it.
much.
I just wanted to thank you so much for listening to this episode with me today. It was such a pleasure to have Brittany on this call. She truly is an inspiration. She came back fighting twice, right, through adversity, and she's come out on the other side. And I just feel like it just goes to show that if you set the intention of what it is that you want to do with your life, you can achieve anything at all. Even if you get knocked down a couple of times, you could always pick yourself up and get back in the game. And sooner or later, you will accomplish your goals. So I wanted to leave you with that. I also want to let you know that Brittany is offering a free week of coaching. So I'm going to put that link in the show notes. Also, I will leave you in the show notes with her Instagram account and also her website where you could learn so much more about her. Again, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate each and every one of you. And until the next time, be well, stay happy, and bye for now. Take good care, everyone.